Welcome to Ellys Manor House and the Merchant's Way. I really do hope that, I know we're, well, I think we're different from what other people are doing, but I hope it's appreciated and you are becoming more aware of what it is we're trying to achieve. So let us know. Do please communicate your thoughts to us. So look, as individuals today, we probably have more power, the individual, than any time I can think of immediately. And that's because of all of the electronic age we've talked about before. What we're doing here now, sitting here, being able to get a message over to you, so many people, we could get this over to the whole world if they're able, if they have the devices and they want to tune in and they find us. We've never been able to do this before. So as we're becoming more and more let down by big governments and small governments, we needn't sit there like lemmings. You can be more proactive. And it doesn't matter from which platform it comes. As I said, this is a platform and it's because absolutely everything connects into this. Now, we work with a lot of other we think they're interesting because they're pertinent to us. We work with places in Perugia. And I did mention this in our introduction, Fontano Maggiore, which is said to be the most important medieval fountain in the world. And why? We share the same Aesop's fable in the bottom basin on the rung. So if you're there next time, do look out for that. They share, we share together. We work also with Gemmellestrup in Denmark. At Gemmellestrup, again, a wonderful building with all the step gables. They carry out some very serious research and they manage over 100 of the small manor houses all over Europe. Now, we also work with Glimminghus in Sweden. Now, the whole of what's now southern Sweden, Skåne, used to be Denmark, but they went head to head. And sadly, the Danes lost the day. So now it's Sweden. So it's that region of Skåne. And you will see a wonderful amount of these step gable buildings in that region. And Visby, quite a large island off of Sweden, there's a dock there, or was, and you would see all of the step gables. And Visby is actually a walled town, or a walled island, I should say. Again, some dear friends up on the border, and this now shows, in order to even approach this, you have to know what was happening on both sides of the Alps. So we work with people in the Tyrol region, and Bolzano, Castle Maricchio, I think that's the correct Italian pronunciation. Again, we'll show you inserts of, in certain parts of Italy, you're once used to seeing the frescoes, which look very different from what we're looking around these walls. But up in the Tyrol, the castles, which are painted, a profusion of paint all over the place. they are more similar in a visual context. They're not identical, but they're more similar in a visual context. And that's because they're virtually on the border of Italy and Austria. So jokingly I say they're men in lederhosen speaking Italian. Now, these are some of the houses we work with, and of course Petrarch, how could I forget? And these are fabulous small places, but they give you so much. If you understand the architectural language, you can literally stand there and you can read these buildings. Because it's not just about the language of that country, it's the language of Northern Europe. And so you start to get this feeling of how the travels took place. And from that, once you're able, and this is actually what I'd want, we have our little school, Great Ponton School in this village. And we do a lot with them here up at the house. And one of what I would like to achieve one day is to take them on a trip down to some of these places we've mentioned, and not to give them too much information, but to see their little eyes light up. Can you imagine them standing in Sweden or in Denmark or in Perugia, and suddenly they're seeing symbols from this building in their village, and just looking at them, observing them, to see the curiosity of how it plays out, them recognizing it. And then from there, when they recognize it, to see how they deal with it. Because, we've had some of the kids up and they've sat in this painted chamber and they've been drawing what they see. And it is absolutely amazing. I get quite excited, too excited, because when you see 7- and 8-year-olds, already you can see something in these. We had one little girl. She drew what she drew. She focused in on an image and she drew it. And I promise you, if you'd taken that image away from that child and showed it around, you would have thought that was being drawn by a talented 16-year-old. And it's when you can see that, and teachers, I think, have a wonderful job because they're able to see this on a daily basis and nurture it. And that's my passion really, because it's like I said in another episode, bring me the best. Not that you're ignoring the rest, but when you recognize talent in someone, because that talent could become very disruptive if no one can see what that child has, and it's not used and it's not nurtured, they can become extremely disruptive. But if it's used, and equally you can use that child to draw on a lesser talented child in a way that there's a cohesion of working together. Now, that's why it's so important that what we're trying to do at Ellys Manor House, we make it work. We want to make a difference. We want to show how a building like this is the catalyst. It doesn't matter about the size, how much money you've put into it. It is how you communicate this. So again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next voyage. Goodbye for now. Good sailing.